there was issues of suicide. I mean,
Yeah.
we've heard of people that were considering suicide, and that's a reality. It's a reality amongst young people because they feel trapped, because they feel lost. They feel like they don't have an option but to disappear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found that was very intense for me.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Youth Dunamis YouTube page. We're so excited to start a page because then we can actually reach more people. I'm so excited. You're going to meet all our people. You're going to meet the face of Youth Dunamis one day. Hopefully, we can get him to come sit on a chair here and express his passion project. I don't want to waste anyone's time because if this is a new page, then it means you've never seen me before. I am Atlachang, and I'm not alone. I come bearing gifts and leaders in our space, and he's going to introduce himself. But before Tolanang, my co-leader, introduces himself, like I said, I'm Atlachang, I'm a lawyer, but I am really passionate about helping people. And that's why I am involved in Youth Dunamis. And Tolanang will introduce himself as well.
Thank you, Atlang. Yes, as Atlang's mentioned, my name is Tolanang, and basically I work. Yes, I work. Okay. I work in construction. I work in the built environment space. But that's just work, guys. On a day-to-day basis, I just enjoy life, and I enjoy working with young people, and I'm a young person myself, and I enjoy working with young people.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
And that's what Youth Dunamis is about.
That is what Youth Dunamis is about. But tell us more about it. What is Youth Dunamis? Yeah, what is Youth Dunamis? You threw out the word, the name Youth Dunamis. Yeah. What is it?
So, Youth Dunamis is a community for young people to come together, share with each other challenges that they're going through, but also find solutions to those challenges, because that's the whole point, right? We're not trying to expose kids and say, we don't want kids to be exposed in the sense that their lives are known, the intricacies of their lives are known, their problems that they're facing are known without having solutions to those problems. And because we are based in a township society or community, there are particular problems that young people are facing in the community that I guess we as leaders of Youth Dunamis have witnessed or have seen. And also as people who've lived in the townships, Tolanang, you yourself have your own personal experiences growing up, and you can also speak about the challenges that you had, but having that knowledge that young people in the townships or in our societies are facing particular problems, we want to help them. I don't know if you want to add.
I think I do want to add to that, also by saying that it's a movement. It's not just an organization.
Yeah.
It's a movement, and a movement has got moving parts, as the term movement says.
Yes,
it's got moving parts. It's constantly growing. It's constantly changing. There's constantly new things that we're trying to add. And as well, because like you're saying now, a lot of young people face challenges in society, especially in our townships. And we constantly need to keep moving as a movement, as Youth Dunamis.
Yeah.
Constantly needs to keep up with all those challenges.
Yes.
As new challenges come up, we need to have solutions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what does Dunamis stand for? Because a lot of people are like, okay, we've seen Youth Dunamis, but Dunamis doesn't sound like a South African, a term in a South African language. Like, what is Dunamis?
Yeah. Well, it's not a South African language, but it can be. We can adopt it. We can take it. We can own it.
Yeah.
So yes, Dunamis is a Greek word, actually.
Yeah.
And it's a word that means power. Yes.
Power.
So in essence, it's the new version of Amandla.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And the youth of 1976 were like all Amandla. We're like Dunamis. So yeah.
Exactly. No, it's I guess, and we'd be remiss not to mention that it was a passion. I don't want to say if is saying something is a passion project. Is that a bad thing? Like if I say it was Muruti's passion project. So we are in a church called Celebration Christian Fellowship. This is not about celebration, but the pastor of that church had this passion project to help the kids or the youth in the society, or at least where the church is based, which is in Mabopane, he wanted to start helping the youth in and around the community. And he spoke about a story where he was driving to church one day and he passed a bunch of young people like on the side of the road, drinking alcohol, smoking weed, and they were very young. And he was just like, there's clearly a problem, right? And we as people who have the resources or who are equipped with a solution or having a solution or who can come up with a solution, we should try and help them. And so he said he is going to mobilize the young people in the church and see if we as a collective can go out to our community and start helping. And he wants them to be empowered. And that's why Dunamis, because power, it's the youth of power, basically. That's how I think about it.
And Atli, that is something that is relatable.
Yeah.
I think we can all relate. We've all driven past, we've all seen, we all know of.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of those people are our family members, they're our friends, they're people that we know closely that are just, they've lost hope. They don't see their lives amounting to anything, which is a very sad thing, because there's always hope. And I'm so glad that as much as you say, and that's why I was saying it's not to say it's a passion project is not a wrong thing. It's not.
Yeah.
Because it's something we can all relate to.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you know what Youth Dunamis is, actually before we move on, we'll actually just read the vision and the mission statement quickly so that people also understand what the vision is of the movement from a formal perspective.
All right, so you asked about the vision, Atlan. The vision of Youth Dunamis is to raise and inspire a generation of young people that will present an alternative solution to the challenges that are facing young people of today. That's really the vision of Youth Dunamis. And it speaks to the point that we're talking about now, that we've all seen we know people that have lost hope.
Yeah.
So Youth Dunamis, the vision of Youth Dunamis is really to address that challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
And
in fact, we are doing it.
We are doing it. Yeah. It's happening.
It's happening right now. I mean, the movement is still new.
Yeah.
It launched officially in February of this year.
Yeah.
Although we had an activation event last year in October.
Yes, that was great.
Which was great.
That was great, yeah.
We're moving. I think we've taken really good strides, which we're going to talk about in this session. And we're just seeing the growth, It's not happening at a fast pace, but, I think you must build and you must build properly. So even if it's slow, as long as you're doing something that's good and giving back, and, achieving the purpose in which you started the thing in the first place, then we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. And, like I mentioned briefly that I'm in the built environment.
Yeah.
When you build a big building, the foundation is deep.
Yeah.
So when you want to build something that is of quality, of value, that will have an impact, we have to make sure that
the foundation
is strong.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that's what's been happening for the past 12 months.
Yeah.
We've been building a solid foundation of the movement. And what's interesting, and I don't know if you've picked it up as well, but when we first launched Youth Dunamis, the question was, Youth Dunamis, such a difficult name. What does it mean? It was like, whoa. But it's so nice that it's become part of the vocab.
Yeah.
It's Youth Dunamis.
OYD.
So, yeah.
We've done well. Okay, let's move on. So, we spoke about the challenges that, the kids or the youth in our communities are facing. And we also spoke about how we all know of someone, who has sort of given up or lost hope and made bad decisions, as a young person who needs some sort of upliftment, right? We had a session with our youth in the church where we asked them, guys, Youth Dunamis wants to go out to the communities and help them, but we also want to know from you, what are your challenges? Because it will also give us an idea of what are the challenges that the kids outside are facing, and also once we've helped you, we can help others, start at home before you go outside. We can't have kids in church with mental problems that are right next to us that we don't help, but then we're trying to solve the world crisis. I mean, yes, we can do it, but I'm saying always start at home. And yeah, like for example, one of the issues that they mentioned was mental wellness in general. People are suffering from depression, suicidal thoughts. They feel peer pressure from school. But I think that is really exacerbated by social media. And they even said it like, social media, in the age of social media and what content is out there and content that they consume, some of them feel less than, feel like they don't have enough. They feel like they're not good enough. And those are some of the challenges that they're facing. We know that some kids have spoken about abuse at home, and the challenges that they face as young people in a home where there's abuse, And those are some of the things that they've highlighted that they want us to address. I don't know, like, if you've spoken to kids in our space who have gone even deeper than that conversation we had in a group.
So I recall that meeting. It was actually very interesting, some of the things that came out of that session. And I mean, you've touched on a lot of them. And, I think just to add to that, there was issues of suicide. I mean, we've heard of people that were considering suicide. And that's a reality. It's a reality amongst young people because they feel trapped, because they feel lost. They feel like they don't have an option but to disappear. So... yeah, I found that was very intense for me.
So I guess that's why we needed to have a focus on, we needed to identify our 3 pillars or our 3 focus areas as Youth Dunamis so that we can have a meaningful impact, right? How do you incorporate kids in the society or in the townships into a program that can advance them, that can empower them, that can help them, in a well-rounded manner? And so we've got the 3 pillars, which are physical, spiritual, mental wellness. And then the second pillar is arts and media, or arts and entertainment. And the third pillar is career guidance. And so we are really trying to see how we can take these 3 pillars and make sure that the young people in the communities are involved in one way or shape or form in one of these 3 pillars. So from a career guidance perspective, we would bring people who are like, who do we bring from? We haven't actually done anything on career guidance, so I'm not...
Well, we
had that session.
Yeah, we partially did that session.
Okay. So from a career guidance perspective, we would bring people who are graduates, who had similar challenges, right? Who faced similar challenges growing up so that they can have a person that they can relate to. And that person will basically try to highlight what it is that they did in order to be successful in their career, right? Or how is it that they managed, despite their challenges, how is it that they managed to get through school with all those challenges, pass well, get into varsity, and make a success out of themselves. And I think we've started having those conversations with them. I mean, we've been emphasizing to them, because a lot of them are still in high school, that, guys, it's important to perform. It's important that you get good grades, because good grades means, you've got better opportunities. You can go to better universities. And I think they're starting to catch on to that.
I think you touched on all round and empowering young people all around. And the 3 pillars that you spoke about do exactly that.
Yeah.
We cover people from a societal point of view, because we are not just individuals, but we're individuals that exist within a community. So being able to help young people understand how do they impact communities, how do they, instead of the communities impacting them, how can they impact the community? You spoke about the spiritual aspect of it, which is key, because we know as human beings, we are not just physical beings. We are spiritual beings
as well,
and we are physical beings. So that physical and the spiritual coming together and empowering them in that space is another important one. And then you spoke about career guidance. That speaks to their aspirations in
Yeah.
life. That speaks to their dreams, their visions, where they want to see themselves, which we all have.
Yeah.
So from an all-round perspective, I think that Youth Dunamis covers very well.
Yeah.
It covers those three aspects.
On arts and media, the interesting thing about arts and media is that it's the one pillar that all the kids want to be involved in because it's the fun. It's the fun in the thing. It's not too serious. You're not telling me to read my books, and you're not telling me to go to church or exercise or or see a therapist. You're telling me to dance. So the arts and media one is very interesting, and we really want to collaborate with people on this one.
Yeah.
Because we know that young people have talents, right? And a lot of people feel like at home they are not given an opportunity or a platform to shine with whatever talent they have. So I might be a good singer, but at home they tell me, "I wena tlohela opela," like zamaya skolong or whatever, right? And sharp, she'll go to school, but she also wants an opportunity to sing, and she doesn't know where to do it. So that's why we're trying to like scout out like what's everyone's talent, and then have them do something that they feel like they were part of. Like if you guys are a bunch of dancers and you want to choreograph something that you want to perform, we'll make that happen. And it's also a way of getting kids out of the streets, because instead of sitting around the corner smoking habli or weed with your friends at the corner of the street because you're bored and have nothing to do, we're saying, come guys, do a drama skit. This is the subject that we want to cover, or the topic we want to cover, the message that we want to portray, and we'll find a platform for you guys to perform this thing, and they feel like, okay, cool, this is actually nice. I want to be involved. So I think these three, you're right, these three pillars really give them an opportunity to be integrated, but also to make a meaningful impact to people outside.
And to your point about the arts and media, I mean, we've seen some great things come out of people. So like, remember with the recent event we had with the hip-hop artist.
Hey, we have a rapper.
Like, we have a rapper, guys. If you're a rapper, come join us. If you're a poet, come join us. If you are a singer, come join us. If you've got, we've seen things come out of people.
No, we have proper things.
People that we've known for long that started singing.
Yeah. And we didn't know they could sing.
They could sing.
But we've known them for so long,
People that are quiet and have never said anything, but are actually good speakers. And they do poetry and they do things like that. It's been really great. Amazing. And I think one of the things about that is about the arts and media one is that I think that's something that's lost in schools these days. I mean, when we were in school, arts and singing and dancing and drama were part of extramurals. I think that's lost nowadays.
I don't think they probably still do it, but I feel like the emphasis on it is not as much as it was when we were in school.
Yes, but the difference is that the passion amongst the young people hasn't been
lost. Not lost, exactly. Not lost. They still want to be involved in it.
Yeah. And I think the other important one is the spiritual aspect of it, because as Youth Dunamis, we are a Christian-based movement of young people. So equipping young people and helping young people understand that they are spiritual beings and that you cannot discount young people from spiritual things. And that they shouldn't wait until they turn 30 or 40 or whatever their age that they think someone should be spiritual. It's instilling that and reinforcing that amongst young people.
That is a very good foundation, actually, in what we're trying to build as well. But we know young people just like fun. So we also have to find ways in which we can incorporate the spiritual in
into
everything.
The fun.
Okay. So Tolanang, let's talk about the actual initiatives that we have started engaging in, which also touch on the three pillars a little bit more, so people can actually understand, because this is probably where we need the most assistance in terms of funding, in terms of volunteers and all of that. Do you want to touch on just some of the initiatives that we have started engaging on?
So there's several initiatives that we've started. I think the most recent and probably the most exciting at the moment is the career guidance. We spoke earlier about an event that we had on Youth Day, when we had a career guidance session. So this career guidance session is to expand on that and to make it a part of the movement.
Yes,
So it's not
exactly.
just an event.
It's not an event,
Yes,
exactly.
it's
yeah.
not an event that we do. So on June 16, it was an event, but now we're converting that event into
A program,
a program,
part of the program, yeah,
movement,
yeah.
and there's some exciting things coming out of
Yeah.
that. So we're looking at it both from a practical point of view. So the one is looking at having tutoring classes, because that's practical.
Yeah.
We need these young people and,
Yeah.
young people to pass.
Yeah.
They must pass.
They must pass.
They must pass. Like,
Yeah.
there's no two ways about
Yes.
it. So we're looking at a tutoring, some way of tutoring and having tutoring sessions for young people.
Yeah.
Group sessions. We've got, we're looking at a very promising partnership with an organization that's been tutoring for years.
Yeah.
And they are, we're looking at something there. So there's something cooking there,
Yeah.
guys. Look out for it.
And I mean, they did these guys who offer these services said they are not limited to the subjects that we said we want.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
But I think we would be starting with physical science,
Yes.
pure maths, because
Yes.
there's a difference. Pure maths and accounting. Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of the kids at that event said, I mean, I didn't know that there was going to be such a big interest.
Yeah.
Because the question, I think it stemmed from a question of how can I better myself? Or I'm struggling to study for my exams. I'm not doing well. I need help. Like, give me tips, right?
Yeah.
And I think I said something along the lines of, if you want help, and I bit my tongue after this. I said, if you want help, just come to us. We'll give you the extra tutoring classes.
Yeah.
And then one person came, then another person, then another. And I was like, oops, okay.
A tsunami of
it's
kids
actually
came now.
a thing, right? It's not just
Yeah.
one person.
Yeah.
It's a group of kids who need help.
Yeah.
And we were like, actually, let's just make this part of the program.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
it would be great.
One of the questions that they asked, I remember, was, how do I study? Like, how do I give me tips
Yes.
on how to
Yeah,
study?
yeah.
And this possible partnership will actually address that.
Yeah.
Because it's not just now looking at the tutoring, but it's
Yes.
also looking at career guidance.
Yes, exactly.
And career guidance with the intention of helping them make good decisions.
Decisions,
So
yes. Even after they've passed matric.
correct.
Yeah.
And past matric, whether they're going to a university, a college, a technicon, whether they're going to entrepreneurship. So it's helping them make good decisions.
Yeah,
And that's going to be part of the career guidance part of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Then our other initiative was the high school takeover.
Yes. Okay.
So the high school takeover, we visited 3 schools.
Okay.
It hasn't been easy because we have to form a relationship with the schools for them to be, I guess, engulfed and for them to be convinced that this is the movement they want to be part of, right? And we definitely need support from the schools. So going forward, when we resume the high school initiative, we will obviously have that intention in mind. But briefly, just to the viewers, we obviously started with the youth of the church, and we had to think of a way of getting out there to the youth in the communities. And we thought, how about we visit high schools? Because there are a lot of kids, in fact, it's just kids in high schools, and they also are facing various challenges that we will be able to hear firsthand from them when we get there, right? And so we contacted the principals of various schools who were like, sure, you can come. Some were more difficult, said we must give them a proposal before we come. So, we haven't lost the passion to go to those schools. It's just that we're focusing on the more easier ones. The ones who were just like, just come.
Yeah,
the low-hanging fruit just
grab
said,
them.
it's fine, just come.
Yeah.
The ones that said, we need a proposal and permission and criminal checks, I was just like, oh my God.
But you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're looking after the kids.
They are looking after their kids. And they want people with integrity.
Yes, I can tell you we are people of integrity. If you're out there and we approach you, we are people of integrity.
We'll get there. So we've gone to 3 schools, 1 in Soshanguve, 2 in Mabopane, had positive engagement. We've gotten, that's how our youth movement has actually started to grow, because the majority of the people are actually people from outside and
Yeah.
not the people in our church.
Yeah.
And also that's how it's brought everyone together and strengthened and given the youth at church like the passion to actually want to do this, because they can see that people are actually interested in this thing. And if we're serious, they're going to be serious as well. So yeah, we're going to high schools. We're telling them what Youth Dunamis is about. We want them to be part of us. We want them to take part in the 3 pillars, you know, to the extent that the schools don't have like some sort of tutorial class program. We want them to be part of our Youth Dunamis tutorial extra classes. And yeah, that's what we're doing. We'll continue going. And also, we will at some point also start going to technicons and universities and colleges, because Youth Dunamis is not just for the younger teens, let's say teenagers. It's not for just teens. It's for youth in general, you know, up to young adults even, because everyone is facing, you know, these challenges. And so, yeah.
And speaking about young adults, and not to leave them out as well, we know that in our society, young adults or young people are facing the challenge of unemployment.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
young people are unemployed.
Yes.
Some have gone to school, got degrees, but they're sitting at home. Some haven't had the opportunity to get a degree or to study something, but they're sitting at home. So there's
Yeah.
also initiatives that we've got in the pipeline for
Yeah,
these
for
young
them.
adults.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, I mean, talking about that, there's something we're thinking about in terms of entrepreneurship, because that's a way of helping those young
Who
people
are unemployed.
who are
yeah.
unemployed
Yeah.
to not only go seek employment, and that's fine. We don't discourage going
Yes.
to find
A
employment.
job, yeah.
But if you can't find a job because there are no jobs, you can be
Create.
the job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can be the job.
Yeah.
So, you know, as much as the initiatives we've spoken about are addressing issues facing young people, probably in school
Yeah.
and probably in university as well, but even young adults, we've
Yes.
got programs coming up
Yeah,
for
for
them.
that, yeah. And hopefully by next year, when the year starts, we've got like a concrete understanding of what it is that we hope to achieve for the year, and we
Yeah.
can just roll it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so God willing, which actually leads us to our next discussion, which
Yeah.
is the funding.
Yeah.
You know, we have an issue
Yeah.
with funding
Yeah.
because most of our activities are funded by the church.
Yeah.
But the church is stretched.
Yeah. Yeah.
The church is really, really stressed because there's the building project, and I don't want to get into church stuff really, but you know, the people in the church do so much already.
Yeah.
And we also like just contribute from our own pockets.
Yeah.
But there's only so much we can do because we only have so much. And we're very grateful for, it's actually such a great thing to be in a church where people are like, they put up their hands, say, I'll do this, I'll pay for this, I will, you know, I remember when we were having the event in April, you know, people volunteered to pay for the bus that's going to get the kids from Soshanguve. People volunteered to buy food. You know, the women at church, they were like, don't worry, we'll raise the funds for the food. We'll make sure that everyone's fed on the day, you know. It's actually amazing how when everyone comes together, you can actually make something work, you know. But we also understand that there's also like a ceiling and there's a limit,
Yeah.
and we don't want to stretch people.
Yeah, and that's coming together within the church. Think about how great it will be when we come together within the community.
Exactly.
You know, in our
Yeah,
community,
yeah.
and we get volunteers and people
Yeah,
wanting
yeah,
to be
yeah,
part of it. So,
yeah.
in terms of volunteering,
Yeah.
there's several ways people can volunteer to help us support the movement. Because as you've perfectly articulated it, we do have challenges. Every organization has got challenges. You know, it's like a child growing up. A child is born. They don't know how to control their bowel movements.
Yeah.
You have challenges.
Yeah.
And then they learn how to do that. And then they start to walk, and then they crawl, and then they walk, and
Yeah.
then they run.
Yeah.
You know, so we, like any organization, have challenges that you've nicely articulated. And volunteerism is really something that will help address that challenge.
Yeah.
And people can volunteer either one by being part of the movement, because having people actually being part of
of
the
it, yeah.
movement gives it traction.
Yes.
You know, it gives traction to some of the events that we're having. It gives traction to even when we go and approach sponsors, we can say, these are the people that are there.
Yeah,
So first
yeah.
and foremost, you can join in and be part of the Youth Dunamis. You know, I mean, contact details will be shared with the viewers, but you can join in, be part of Youth Dunamis. The other way that volunteerism can help is when we have events
Yeah.
as well. Like you've mentioned, at the moment we had the woman in the church saying they'll do the cooking, So if you are out there and you've got a shop that sells dipatlo or whatever that we can buy in the community, you can also put your hand up and say, well, give, well, for this event, we will sponsor the food.
Yeah, or we'll provide the food at a subsidized
Or at a subsidized amount.
Because we know that they're also trying to make money. They also are in the business of making money, and they also need money to live.
Yeah.
So we don't want to take away from them, especially because everyone's trying to hustle.
Yeah.
But if, like, for example, it's patloki 10 rand and they say, no, for your event, we'll sell it for 5 rand, we'll be like, thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's a win-win. And
It's
we're
a win-win,
we're
yeah.
about win-win.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's win-win. You
Yeah.
must work for you, it must work for us.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's about the young people
Yeah.
that we're trying to help.
Help, exactly.
Or another way of volunteering is if you do and you can and you're willing and able, you can make cash donations as well.
Yeah.
Because that always comes in handy.
Yeah, we need donations, hey?
Yeah.
Because, look at our T-shirts.
Yeah.
We're going to change them, but
This is 2023 design, 2023.
we're going to change them.
2024.
But, we had everyone buying them for 170, well, the guys in the church.
Yeah.
But then we try to sponsor them to, the newbies in the movement. But that came from someone's pocket.
Yeah.
And imagine if I'm sponsoring just 10 T-shirts, which is not a lot because there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Then I take out 1.7.
Yeah.
And 1.7 might not be a lot of money to you, but to me, I'm like, damn, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. And to us as individuals, it may be a lot of money,
Yeah.
but to organizations,
It might not, right? Yeah.
So
we want to have money that where we can have a bunch of T-shirts just sitting that whenever someone joins, we say, here's a T-shirt. They feel part of it because also, we liked how everyone looked wearing their Youth Dunamis T-shirts at the various events.
Yeah.
But we also understood that it creates that, I feel left out because I don't have a T-shirt. And then, okay, I want a T-shirt. Okay, we don't have extra. We just need money. We, God help us, we need money.
Yeah.
And also the money will help for stuff like, paying for the tutorial services. Also, if we want to incorporate certain programs, like we said, we want to equip the young adults with entrepreneurial skills and all of that, which means we need to get people to come and help. So we might need to pay a small fee for that stuff. Yeah. For events, we need setup. We need things to make the thing look nice. We need funds for that. And also I was thinking, the mental health thing about how we want to get psychologists to partner up with us who are almost readily available to speak to kids who are going through a crisis or who are in a really dark hole. Although ideally we would want people to volunteer if they're psychologists to do it, almost not for profit or pro bono as we use in legalese. Some people might be no, I'm willing to come, but if you could just cover my petrol or whatever. So those type of fees, there's always going to be costs associated with what it is that we're doing, and so we need some funding. Yeah.
Even the career guidance initiative and the tutoring that we looking at, that's going to require funds.
Yeah.
It's going to require money to make it sustainable.
Yeah.
And also on that note, people can also not contribute cash per se, but they can contribute towards specific activities.
Yeah.
So when we're having an event,
Yeah.
And we have a list of we need transport to get kids from one place to another.
Yeah.
We've got transport, we've got food, we've got this. Somebody can volunteer, or an organization can volunteer to say, we'll
cover this
cost for a specific item. Because I understand some people and rightly so, and some organizations are very cautious on how they give out cash.
Yes, exactly.
They would rather pay the invoice directly, and we are more than willing to do that.
Very happy
we
for
say
that.
If you want to pay for an invoice, if you want to pay for a specific thing, you're welcome to do that, and we want people to do that. We encourage that form of volunteerism.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that for anything to be successful, you need money. Can't shy away from it.
It's a reality.
You need resources.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so actually we spoke earlier about the events and some of the things that we're doing. So that we're doing currently.
Yeah.
But what is still coming? What are some
What
of the
are some
upcoming
of the
events?
stuff that's coming for the rest of the year? We have our 1 year anniversary celebration for
So like the
Youth
baby I was talking about, baby's turning
Yeah.
one.
Exactly,
Yeah,
we're turning
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Youth Dunamis is turning one. So we're having an anniversary celebration
Yeah.
in October. The date is yet to be confirmed, but I understand it's like the last Saturday of October. It will be in Mabopane, Block B. And yeah, I think that event, it's going to focus a lot on the 3 pillars, right? Yeah. So we want to bring out the arts and media. We want people, again, you have a talent, you have an item to render, form your dance groups, form your acting skit groups, come and showcase your talent on the stage. You know, want to give out prizes, want to recognize people for the fact that they have a talent and they did well, you know. People like that stuff. They like recognition. Obviously, the career guidance thing, I think the intention will be to focus on entrepreneurship this time around, because we've already done that career guidance for the year.
Yeah.
So we want to focus on entrepreneurship. How is it that you can create business for yourself as opposed to waiting for employment, right? And then obviously on the mental wellness aspect, or physical, spiritual, and mental wellness, we will also have sort of activities with psychologists who will come. We had the psychiatrist, and I think it will always be useful to have either a psychologist or psychiatrist present, because people always, I saw like how at the last event, everyone rushed to the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
They wanted to know,
Yeah.
doctor, can you tell us? Like, can you tell me I'm having this problem? What's wrong? You know?
Yeah.
So we want to have that just on a bigger scale, because that was like more small, and it was like, you know, let's just keep it small so that our people understand. Let's not call them our people, but the guys who've started with us from the beginning, so that they understand what it is we're trying to achieve. Once they understand, we can do it on a grander scale, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to sort of be a repetition, but on a bigger scale. And we're hoping like we can get sponsors, right? It would be great if we had like food stalls. It would be great if, you know, we had like a really nice setup, not like the traditional, you know, you sit here and watch. You know, I want bean bags. I've been saying to people, guys, where can I get bean bags?
Bean bags will happen.
I want the bean bags.
That's been your passion, your passion project.
I want
Get
the bean bags.
Yeah.
Really. So it's going to be really cool. And we're inviting literally everyone to come. Because Youth Dunamis, even though it's, you know, we've started it in Mabopane because that's where we're based, the movement is supposed to spread. Like it's supposed to go everywhere, and everywhere. We mean everywhere, like South Africa. That's our goal.
And that's where the movement part of it comes in. It's constantly moving. It's outside of defined terms.
So that's our upcoming event for the year.
Okay. So on that note, I think it's actually sounds so exciting that it seems like the vision of, or after YD turns one, it's sort of like the events that we've been having will form part of now the programs.
Exactly.
You know, we've had events like you are touching on now, the psychologist. You know, it looks like going forward, that could be something that is a program that is within. Career guidance was an event, which will now become a program going forward.
We also had the event on substance abuse.
Substance abuse.
Yes. We actually were seeking to partner up with a government department, you know, when it comes to substance abuse, because they've got like programs within the departments that are aimed at tackling the issues in the communities. And I remember there was a guy who I spoke to who said he's very interested in what it is that we're doing. How can he help? He actually wants to come to the substance abuse event that we had. And they came and they told us what they were all about, and the different divisions in and around Mabopane and Soshanguve. And going forward, again, it's something we want to incorporate in the program, because it is one of the major challenges in the community.
I remember that came out very strongly when we spoke to young people about the challenges that they're facing.
Yes.
You know, and substance abuse is not something that challenges young adults and adults, as it were, before. Now it's challenging young people that are in school. You know, in school, they're on mandrakes, they're on drugs, they're on different type of substances. You know, and I think Youth Dunamis wants to create that platform. And have it as part of a program. We were talking about incorporating it as a program within
Yes.
Youth Dunamis.
Yes.
You know, which I think will be very important for.
Yeah. So
young
our
people.
program seems really exciting.
Yeah.
No, I'm really excited. Like, I think and I know we will, once we roll out the program and it starts operating effectively, then we really are going to make huge strides in really achieving the vision and the mission of Youth Dunamis. And then once I mean, problems are never 100% solved, but like once we know that we are making an impact in Mabopane, then it's easy for us to be like, okay, Harankua, okay, Sosh, okay, Amanskral, okay, Pretoria CBD, okay, Joburg, you know what I mean?
It's going to be a tough one. Whoa. The CBDs are going to be hectic, but we're coming for you.
We're coming.
We're coming.
No, that's the point, right? Like God will give us the ability to do it.
Yeah. And it's like you're saying, problems are never fully solved.
No.
I think our biggest problem will be actually realizing how big the problem is. You know? And actually, because now we've got a glimpse of how of the problem.
Yeah.
But I don't think we fully understand the extent of the problem.
No, not
and
yet.
how deeply entrenched it is in society.
Yeah.
And how it affects our young people, how it affects us, how it affects our friends, our, siblings and the likes.
No, I mean, we have our work cut out for us. But one thing I know...
You've got broad shoulders, right?
Yeah. We have people who are willing to assist. That's great. And we also have God who will give us the ability to see it through. You know, and I personally thank Muruti for this initiative. You know, for actually deciding that let's do this thing. We start, we move. Like God will give us the ability. Where God leads, He provides. You know, and we are here. I mean, who knew? Like a year before, everyone was like, we didn't even have a name. Like we were like, guys,
we didn't even understand what a movement was. He's like, we're gonna start a movement.
What is a movement?
We're looking at each other, you know.
Then we introduce Youth Dunamis. Everyone is like, is this the new CCF youth? No, this has nothing to do with church. It has nothing to do with CCF. It's completely an independent youth movement that wants to change the community. And I think we will get there.
No, and I think to your point, I think Muruti having the vision to start this, it has to start somewhere. There's a nexus of everything. Everything starts somewhere. You know, and it started in his heart. And God, I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe that God put it in his heart. And he sort of like lit the fire. And we just ran with it.
It would actually be nice to have him like sit here.
It would be,
and hear him.
It would be.
We have to get him.
He's
like very like busy, but we have to get him.
We have to slot somewhere into his schedule because young people need to hear what he's got to say.
They have to hear.
And as well, I think there's nothing better than hearing it from the source.
The source, exactly. Okay, so how can people contact us?
So the various ways that people can contact us. They can contact us via email. I think we'll share our email address, email accounts, and they can contact us via WhatsApp. We'll share our contact details.
So on that, remember we've got the Instagram page at Youth Dunamis _.
Yes.
And in the bio is the link to the WhatsApp group. So and anyone can join.
IG Instagram page as well?
The Instagram page, you can obviously DM us there. So again, it's at Youth Dunamis _. And then Facebook, we also have a page on Facebook, Youth Dunamis NPC. So you can also contact us there. I mean, I think those are the various ways you can contact us. And I can assure you that someone will respond and someone will address your needs if you have. And if you say, we want to give you money,
please, we are here. We are ready. Also know that the money will be used put to good use. You know, because there's a lot. I mean, we spoke about a lot of initiatives that we're trying to do. And all of those initiatives do require funding. And they do require resources. Let's call it that as a whole. Because it's not just money that they can contribute, but resources as a whole.
And we'll obviously bring like the faces of people that you are involved in the movement, the young people who've been there from the beginning, how Youth Dunamis has impacted them positively, how it's changed their lives. You know, we want to bring success stories because this is something new that we're starting. We're starting at this page and this channel so that we can actually show you the work that we're doing and how we are trying to make a difference in our communities. And we want you to hear it from the people who are actually involved in the thing. So it's going to be great. I think I'm so excited.
Yeah. Speaking about resources, one last thing. Resources also include people's skills.
Yes.
So your skills, your abilities, your talents, anything that you can bring to the movement will add to the movement.
Yes, of course. Because you've exactly right. We've got photographers. I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, since while you take photos, why don't you start taking photos for, the page? So we'll use the content that you take and post it on our page. And then I asked, if people are good at like social media marketing and stuff, they must take over
graphic designers, our new shirts.
The shirts, exactly.
Yes.
They must take over, the social media advertising and all of that, because that's not my job. Like, I'm doing it for now because someone needs to do it. But we actually want to use the skills that people have and employ them in like the various departments, if you want to call it, within the organization. So everyone feels seen. Everyone feels like they're actually contributing in their own special way.
And they actually, I think beyond feeling, they are actually contributing.
Actually doing it. Yeah.
They're part of it. They're contributing. Yeah. It's almost like building a building.
Yeah.
They're laying their
bricks
in there.
Yeah.
Without that brick, there'll be a gap. So by adding your skills and your abilities, you're adding a layer to the building. Somebody else layers on that, and somebody else layers on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a new channel, so we are really requesting that you you subscribe, you put on the bell button, and you share, what we're doing with your friends and family, so that the word can go out, that people can know more about us, and also, I guess, in the sharing and the information that becomes public knowledge, to a wider group, we're going to find our funders. I really believe word of mouth is like the best way to get to the right people. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you made it to the end of this video, that's amazing. That's great. I hope now you have a better understanding of what Youth Dunamis is about, what it is that we're trying to achieve. You will be seeing more of us. It's really exciting for us, and we really want you to be part of it in however way you can be part of it. Thank you so much for watching. That's bye from me.
And thank you very much once again. Adding to what Atlangs just said now, thank you for watching the video right to the end. Well done. And we're really looking forward to working with you. I think something that's, for me, most important is that you at least got to understand what Youth Dunamis is about. You got to understand who we are. You got to understand why we're in existence and what we're actually trying to do and the impact we want to have in the community. And also, most importantly, how you can get involved. You can get involved in so many different ways, and we've touched on that. So looking forward to connecting with you, looking forward to working with you, looking forward to being with you. And on that note, with a Dunamis, Youth Dunamis. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.